Hi, everyone. I'm Noreen Savage, and this is Starting Out Bright. And I'm so glad that you're here. We've been meeting week by week since July of 2020. And the reason for that, and first of all, I want to tell you, I'm nobody official with Bright Line Eating, but the program's done a lot for me. When I say July 2020, that was an important time because that was 1 year after I had begun Bright Line Eating. And to back up a little bit, I had found the program through my friend Lori, who had posted on her private Facebook page saying she lost 57 pounds in 1 year. And if anybody was interested, they could just give her a holler. So, you know what I did? My hot little fingers got over to Lori as fast as they could by messenger, and she proceeded to tell me about a book called Bright Line Eating by Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson. So if anybody's new, this is an actual book written, and in it is described 4 bright lines that you do for this program: no sugar, no flour, 3 meals a day, weighed and measured portions. And when my friend Lori told me that, I thought, absolutely no way. There is no way I can do all of that. But we got together, and I just let this information sit with me for 2 months. That was in May 2019. And in July 2019, I realized where I was. I was in a lot of pain, swollen feet for about a year, very, very painful knee, back, snoring every night and wondering at times if I'd wake up in the morning. That's where I was at 270 pounds and 5'2". Lori suggested I buy the book, which I did, and I got into a private Facebook group called We Eat Bright with Lines. Now, since then, I've seen many, and I'm a member of many of them, private groups, including Starting Out Bright, which is associated with this, and a public group. There's Bright Line Official, and many others. We'll talk about some of them tonight. But what I saw were people sharing their success and their struggles, photos of then and now. And when I saw people losing 50, 100 pounds, my hope just rose in me, and I realized I really could do this. And I'm going to give it a shot. And if I last 1 year, I will post on my Facebook page, and I'll help anybody I can. Well, the year came up, July 2020. We're in the middle of Zooms and COVID. And I'm getting ready to post, and I'm a Christian, and I felt God say to me, Noreen, you can do more than that. You could connect people. And that's how the Zooms were born. And by grace, and really the people who have said yes to this stranger asking them if they would just tell their whole story, and here they are. I mean, it's quite incredible. I learn something new each time. And tonight, again, you are in for a treat as we meet Barb Kuykendall. Did I say that correctly?
No.
No, well, please correct it because
Kuykendall.
Kuykendall. Okay. And Barb, welcome. And I'm so glad you said yes and taking one for the team.
Hi.
So I tell a little bit about how I got started with Bright Line Eating. Can you bring us up to speed? What brought you to do something so extreme as BLE?
Well, I started dieting when I was 13, and I didn't have a lot to lose. So in high school, I was always heavy, and I started doing diets in high school, different ones, liquid diet, Weight Watchers. I think those were, and then in between high school and college, I did Atkins, and I lost 20 pounds, and then I kept it off I became a Christian during that time, and I kept it off until I got married. And then after I got married, I had a first son, and I didn't gain weight while I was pregnant, didn't gain weight while I was nursing. But afterwards, I gained a lot of weight. I gained a lot of weight back. And so then I'd go on another diet and another diet and another diet. I think I've done all of the diets you could name. My I would go up and down. I would, one time when I did Weight Watchers after my second baby, lost 20 pounds, and then I gained it all back in 2 weeks. Um, then, but anyway, I had a history of that. And I try, new diet on the magazine, I'd try it. My friends say, well, let's try this. I try it. And sometimes I lost and sometimes I didn't. I finally got, my highest weight was 185. And I went on fen-phen. And then they said, well, that's not safe. So I got off fen-phen and I gained all my weight back in 5 weeks. So then I decided I'm just gonna be fat. There's nothing I can do. And then I lost weight because of a dental problem. And then I realized, then I asked the Lord to help me. I said, Lord, I am not succeeding and I need help. Well, I became sensitive to anything with corn in it. So that eliminated a lot of food because a lot of foods have corn or corn syrup in them. So that eliminated a lot of food. And then my son got married and I lost some weight doing an e-diets, which was an online group. And then I got down to, I don't know, different Spark people, different diets and online stuff. And this was over several years. I don't even know, 20 years, I guess. And so then my daughter-in-law and I did a diet and together, and she lost, I don't know, 15, 20 pounds. But then she gained, and I was doing it too. And I'd lose 5 pounds, gain 5 pounds, lose 5 pounds, gain 5 pounds, lose 5 pounds, gain 5 pounds. And so then I was at 136 pounds for 5 years, and I'm only 5'1", actually 5.5 feet now. And my goal weight, for years I said I wanted to weigh 120, but then or 115. I weighed 115 when I got married. So that was my goal. But I couldn't get there. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to be chubby. And that's the way it is. But then my daughter-in-law saw BLE online, Leah, my daughter-in-law, Leah, and she lost 55 pounds doing Bright Line Eating. And her mom lost a whole bunch of weight. And her dad lost a whole bunch of weight. And she didn't really say a whole lot about it. And then she finally, around Christmas time, maybe beginning of January 2020, she said something about it. At that time, I weighed 136 and a half. So I borrowed the book from the library, and my husband and I started doing it January 2nd. He lost weight really fast. He was down 40 pounds, and I was down 10 pounds. And then he didn't, and then I lost another 5 pounds, but I couldn't get to my goal. So then I did the 14-day challenge, and I lost half a pound. And then I continued doing that. And then I finally joined boot camp because I was kind of frustrated. I wasn't getting anywhere. And when I joined boot camp, they have a lot of coaching calls you can call into. And so after a while, I did call into a coaching call, and I said, I've been at the same weight for 3 months. I'm not losing. What can I do? And so because of my height, to change my protein and my fat, reduce my protein to 3/4 protein, now this was a Bright Line Eating coach. It wasn't my little decision. And to change my fat a little bit. So I did that and I got to my goal. That's why I picture the wedding dress. And that was actually on my anniversary. And it had been 30 years since I had been that weight. So it took, 37 years actually. So
talk about determination, Barb. Some may say like, wow, you were looking good. You were maybe thinking you were chubby, but even looking.
Well, actually, 2 of my pictures were turned around. One picture was the one that says before BLE with a t-shirt, that was at goal weight. Okay. And the other t-shirt with a turtleneck, a long sleeve shirt, that was when I was.
I wondered if I got that mixed up. I couldn't tell. You look good in all of them.
Yeah. But anyway.
But the thing is that really amazed me is that you kept going like right down to the last pound. And some may say, well, I'm close enough.
Well, it's because of my brother having diabetes and because of the risk of having diabetes. I was 67 when I got to my goal. And, I quit dieting to be cute a long time ago because,
But you are cute.
Well, but you know what I mean. Not to just not to anyway, the looking good was not a motivation anymore. So my brother had diabetes, and that when I turned 50 on my 50th birthday, I had to have a toe cut off.
Mm.
And that's when I looked up the statistics for diabetes, and that if I didn't lose the weight, I don't know how much overweight I was at the time, probably 35 pounds, that I had a 70% chance of getting diabetes, type 2 diabetes. And if I lost the weight, I had a 60% chance. And one of the main things to do to prevent diabetes is to lose weight and to exercise. And none of my other siblings have gotten diabetes yet, but I think it's because we all exercise, every one of us. And I have 5 other siblings, but my brother did pass away because of complications from diabetes during this time, also from heart attack and kidney failure and things like that. And he's 2 years younger than me. So that was my main motivation to keep trying.
Well, I'm so sorry for the loss of your brother, and the thing with diabetes, the doctors may even say, just lose weight. But I just don't think that many medical people even have the answer. I mean, here you were prescribed fen-phen, not that many years ago, really, if you think about it. And that's taken off the market, as well as many other things that have, been realized like that's not healthy. Even if you lost all the weight, but it's not healthy plan, like eating meal replacements all the time and living on a few granola bars,
I've done that.
Yeah, we talked the other day, and one thing that stood out to me is that you used artificial sweetener type products for a while, right?
Oh, yeah. No, the whole time. From the time I was 13. And the last diet I was on before BLE, they had, you could have snacks in the afternoon, you could have snacks at night, and they used almond flour and, different flours. You didn't use regular flour and artificial sweetener. And they said, oh, just eat what you want. Well, that was not a good diet for me, because one of the things I did find out in this process is that I am addicted to sugar. And so it was not a good plan for me.
Well, tell everybody about the situation that happened. I think that you were just coming out of boot camp and you decided to go to a McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. So it was during the summer. So it was like July 2020. And I have fibromyalgia, and sometimes I have trouble sleeping. And I had to go somewhere early in the morning. So I thought I would get a sugar-free vanilla iced coffee. And for some reason I had a plain cup of coffee in my car. And anyway, so I went to the drive-through, and I got the sugar-free iced vanilla coffee. And I hadn't had artificial sweetener for a long time, barely at all. And I almost spit it out because it was so sweet. But before BLE, when I used to work, I would put 2 more packets of the artificial sweetener in the sugar-free vanilla iced coffee. So that day I diluted my coffee with the coffee because it was so gross to me.
Well, after we talked, I took a look at what some of these sweeteners, not so much what they're composed of, but why do they feel so sweet, to us? And the chart is in the slideshow. A little packet of Equal, it's 200 times sweeter than sugar. The Sweet and Low, that Equal is aspartame. Sweet and Low is saccharin. That's 300 to 400 times sweeter than sugar. Splenda, that's sucralose. Now, anybody see that in the ingredients? That's 600 times sweeter than sugar. And then there's a product called Neotame, which I'm not familiar with, but it's currently in over 1,000 sugar-free products. That product is 7,000 to 13,000 times sweeter than sugar. I mean, no wonder we can get addicted to sugar. If you go back to the book with the Bright Line Eating, and I don't, it's hard to retell the scientific piece of it, but our brain is on overload from sugar. thins out those receptors, and we just need more and more and more. I talked a little bit about, having a little episode with sugar-free gum. And I just couldn't get enough of it till I'm almost like chewing my mouth off. And then I was like so hungry. And I truly believe it's that sugar-free, that it's almost setting us up for more of a problem with sugar. Do you think that happened to you?
Oh, I know, because even now, even though I've been on maintenance for, I guess, 18 months, maybe only, I don't know, 17, 18 months. But anyway, Ed Pettit always takes about researching. So my research, Ed Pettit's research was on other things. My research has been, and with the help of my mastermind group and the help of the Lord, anytime I have, like, if it was hot day and I thought, oh, I will just get this diet drink at this fast food place instead of water. Even if I didn't have any sugar at that time, later on, my sugar craving was just crazy. And so anytime, and like last week, I accidentally had some sugar-free stuff. I didn't even know it was. And I had a terrible week. And so I broke my lines. Not as much, because most of the time the Lord's been really good to me, and I've had a lot of victory. But my mastermind group laughs when I tell them, oh, I had a diet drink and then I ate sugar. They just laughed, and they said, you know, it's like poison for you. And it is. It just wants me to want to go buy sugar.
Well, let's talk about your mastermind group for just a second, because it sounds like you're on a pretty regular basis with your mastermind. Did you find each other in boot camp or in one of the groups?
Yes, I think we were all in boot camp, and maybe it was a boot camp group. I'm not really sure what page it was on. But yeah, so we said, I want to, because one of the lessons in the boot camp is on making a mastermind group.
Okay.
And so I think, and then we're all Christians, so
you had this common bond. And
right,
for someone who is new to likes the idea of getting together with somebody for accountability, how would you go about putting together a mastermind group, or what do you talk about? Are there like specific things that you do? You don't want to just spend a lot of time and not accomplish anything.
It's a once a week meeting, designed to be once a week meeting. And each person, I'm reading this from the Bright Line Eating page. Each person completes the following 3 sentences. Right now I am feeling the win for the week that I am celebrating is, and how did I do with last week's commitment? And then you share for 12 minutes each, plus feedback from the group. And then 10 minutes to say what was most helpful. And the one thing I commit to, we're not real rigid, but we always do the win, what we're celebrating, and we talk about commitments and things we're struggling with, and we pray with each other.
So that's one time a week. And
right.
Do you have any of those people as accountability buddies too?
Well,
like to commit
I've had several different accountability buddies. So sometimes we text each other and sometimes we don't. So we do if we want to. We mostly text during the week. We don't talk to each other.
Okay. So another thing that we talked about the other day that it sounds as though it's like a very helpful thing for you is one of the private groups that you got into. Again, it's a Christian group. It's Bright Believers. Yes. And can you talk about what you found in that group to be so helpful?
Right. So it is a Christian group, and it's a normal Facebook group, so you can post things all the time. But we have done several book studies together. We've done Taste for Truth, Freedom from Emotional Eating by Barbara Aveling. We've done Armor of God by Patricia Shire, and we did another book by her, and we did Sweet Freedom by Teresa Parker, and we did Made to Crave by Lisa Turkus. But anyway, so they're like Bible study group. It's a book study on those topics using scripture, and then once a week, every day, someone would post about it. And then on Saturdays, we would have a Zoom for an hour and talk about it.
And so the book is, the book study is it read just on your own or in the Zoom?
Yeah. Yeah, no, we read, most of the book studies we've done are like a Monday through Friday book study, and some people post about what that day's reading, and then on Saturday, there's questions to discuss and things.
So of the books that you've done, what has been one of those that has been most helpful to you?
I would say Freedom from Emotional Eating, because
Okay.
I was, a lot of times I could stick to the diet, but emotions would get in my way. I'd get upset, I'd get angry, anything. I'm still having trouble recognizing some of my emotions, and so Freedom from Emotional Eating has been the most helpful because it talks about learning how to truth journal and how to deal with your emotions in a biblical way, so you're renewing your mind from scripture.
Well, I got to hear about the truth journaling. That sounds like a step-by-step kind of thing. Telling the truth on anything about your food is sometimes tough to admit to yourself. So how do you go about doing that?
Okay, I can give you an example from today.
Okay, here we go.
Our wind chill today was 18 below. So I think the temperature was 4 when I went to go skating. I went indoor skating. I did not skate outside. I went to a ice arena. So it's pretty cold, very cold today, in the freezer. So afterwards, and I have been skating all winter and I haven't fallen. Today I fell. I just fell on, I didn't hit my head, which I praise the Lord for. Right. And I didn't hit so one time I did fall, but that was many years ago and had a concussion. So I just hurt my knee, but it really hurt, but I didn't. After I got up, I walked around and I was fine. But then, I'm thinking, I should go get some sugar-free cocoa.
Here we go. It's really a pull, isn't it? That is really
it's cold. It's a hot drink. The chocolate would taste good. And I had water in the back of my car, and it wasn't frozen because we have a heated garage and I hadn't been skating long enough. So I got my water. But, so the lie was, it'll be okay. But then I went, no, it's like poison. I am going to want sugar. If I drink that sugar-free cocoa, the next thing I'm going to do is want to eat something else that has sugar in it. So that was an example. And so that the truth was, it would not be good for me to have cocoa, even though it was hot. And the Lord was so good, though. I went to the grocery store because I didn't have any ibuprofen and I wanted it for my knee. And I thought, well, I should look for a tea, and my favorite herb tea was on sale.
So I got that. What kind is that?
A Bengal Spice by Celestial Seasonings. So I got the Bengal Spice tea, and then all of the herb teas by Celestial Seasonings were on sale, like $1 off. I mean, it was a good sale. And then lemon ginger. So I got my tea and some other things I needed for the weekend, and I went home and I made my tea.
Well, here you are skating. I mean, this is pretty remarkable to me. I mean, skating. I last time I got on a bike, I face planted. And so that scared me enough to stay off of a bike. And I hope this summer that I can get back on.
Oh, you will.
Have you continued to exercise? I mean, I know you were an athlete. You said when we talked the other day, you were an athlete in high school.
Right.
When did you bring back exercise, or did you never let it leave?
I never stopped exercising. When I started BLE in January 2020, I was working a job where I walked 5 hours a day. So obviously I wasn't going to stop walking. And and then during COVID, after I retired because of COVID, and my husband and I were walking every day. So and I'd already been skating before that and cross-country skiing before I did BLE. So, and bicycling and kayaking and swimming. So I'd done all of that. And part of that was just to beat the diabetes, because I like swimming. I like kayak. I think kayaking is one of my favorite exercises. And I ride my bike, not as much as I'd like to. but I'll go kayaking and think, oh, I got to get some exercise. Oh, you just did. And I really enjoy skating, and I like cross-country skiing. So
all of your kind of exercise is just fun activities.
no, because I walk sometimes.
Okay.
Or if it's cold, or I might go on an elliptical at the gym. I do have a membership at the Y, and I do, like the other day I walked and swam at the Y, and I think might have been 5 that day. So.
Well, I'm tracking with the coldness. I'm in Michigan, and it's awfully cold over here. It's freezing.
But I did go sit in the sauna after I went swimming. So, if you sit in the sauna, even if you shower afterwards, it keeps you warm for a long time.
This is a sauna in your home?
No, at the Y.
Okay. All right. Because I didn't know about that. Now, you did say about the Truth Journal being part of your emergency action plan.
Yes. So the emergency action
work?
plan, well, it's supposed to, if you're tempted, would work today, partly because I thought, oh yeah, you're going to go talk about not having artificial sweetener. And you go, I mean, it was a good thing. And I was praying, I did pray and ask the Lord to help me because I was tempted. I was definitely tempted. Most of the time for me, the emergency action plan, if you broke your lines, why did you break your lines? And so for me, the truth journaling comes in because, okay, what happened that you broke your lines? What did someone say something you didn't like? Did you have a bad experience at the store, or whatever emotion it is, if you can pinpoint the emotion. And then the lie is, oh, if I eat this, I'll feel better. Or last 2 weeks ago, I think I had a diet soda with my grandchildren. Well, if I have the diet soda, then I won't eat the M&M. Well, I didn't. But then later my cravings were so that was a lie. Oh, this will be good. It's not good for me. It's the lie. And the truth is that I did make a promise to the Lord when I was a very new Christian 49 years ago that I wouldn't eat sugar unless I weighed 105. Well, I've never been able to keep that promise. Mm-hmm. And so part of my truth is that if I'm going to live for Jesus, then breaking my lines is not, the truth is I am breaking my promise to God. And anyway, so and like one of the verses that I try to use for my truth journaling is 2 Corinthians 10:5, casting down imaginations and every high thought that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. And then the other verse that's a key one for truth journaling is Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Because a lot of times you have to change your thinking.
Wow. Isn't that the truth? It's not just about the food. It's how we think about everything. I mean, we think about the scale. I found it remarkable as you were talking about your journey even from high school, that you totally remember all of the ins and outs. I lost 20 there, I gained it here, lost 5 there. Think about that in our lifetime, that we're so consumed with these numbers. And I personally think that is part of what some call the saboteur, the devil, whatever, is that if we can be still focused on those numbers and those things about ourselves, it takes us away from doing what we're really meant to do in our lives. Don't you think? A little bit?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about this because it's well, I think part of mine is that I didn't think I would be, that people wouldn't like me if I'm not the right way. A lot of lack of confidence, not putting my.
If you've ever heard a negative word, I've said this many times because I love the 5 love languages. That whole, if you know the 5 love language concept by Gary Chapman, it's a book, and the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, service, gifts, and I'm missing one. But the part about words of affirmation, and I'll think about it, words of affirmation. Just think about this. I bet you can remember a time where someone paid you a compliment, and it will stick with you for like even 2 weeks. You might even think about it like, wow, that was really a nice thing for them to say. But if they say something negative to you, shoot, I can remember things that were said when I was in second grade. I mean, it can last a lifetime. If that is especially your love language, wow, those words really hit you. So any words of criticism can really stay with you. And it really doesn't matter who. I told you the other day that I had gained, I think maybe 15 pounds from out of high school. And I won't say the word, but I was in my small town. So here I was like 130 pounds, not very heavy at all. And someone goes, boy, you have a fat ass. And that still stuck with me. That's 40 years ago. And it's like, wow. So those words can really, bite you. And, anything around the scale, like somehow we weren't worthy enough if we weren't a certain size, it seems, and maybe because maybe we didn't think we were worthy to ourselves, that we got to keep hitting that number. It's definitely a part of the emotions, I think. I wanted to ask you too, you said Dr. Joy, and I don't know that we got into this specifically tonight, because I'm just thinking about all the stuff that you are talking about. Dr. Joy was a big piece in this.
Oh, definitely, still today. Dr. Joy is a eating disorder coach. That's her profession, but she also works for BLE, and she has calls a couple times a month that you can call in and ask questions in boot camp a couple times, but in Bright Lifers. And so there's a fifth Bright Line. And the fifth Bright Line is for people who have had anorexia or binge eating disorder and can't do the exact. So I do the fifth Bright Line. It's not 3 meals a day. I have 4 meals a day weighed and measured at a specific time, and I call it a meal. But anyway, so before I talked to Dr. Joy, even though I got to my goal, I couldn't go more than 3 days without breaking my lines. So I finally got brave and wrote a question in and talked to her on the phone about it. And she said, yes, I should do a fourth meal, and to do half a protein. And so because I started maintenance, I have one maintenance I had to reduce my weight loss plan anyway. So I eat the full weight loss plan now, the regular one. And then I added a grain and half a protein for my fourth meal. And that has kept me from binging for 18 months.
And so that last meal is your maintenance meal.
Right. Well, yeah.
And you have that after dinner.
Right.
And so this is really interesting. Your evening, you are not hungry then, right? Or is it a mental thing?
It's more of a mental. It's like if I go out somewhere, if I go to anything, if I go out and then I come home, then I want to eat something. But I am going to work. This is my project for my truth journaling, because I'm going to try to truth journal before I have my fourth meal. Because if I could come home and handle it with the truth journaling, then I wouldn't need the fourth meal. And I would like to do that, but I haven't gotten there yet.
And you physically sit down and write in the truth journal.
Oh yeah, no. I do. And now I do use the I Deserve a Donut app sometimes if I'm upset, or if you're in the car or something and not driving, but you can. I Deserve a Donut is a truth journaling app, basically. It's all there's different sections on it, and it has questions you can ask yourself and Bible verses that you can meditate on for that situation.
And so, like, for example, what might the app do? You just click on any question, or are there categories?
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to get into this.
I have to get it open here. Just a second.
That sounds really interesting.
It is very helpful.
I need a
Especially-
donut
There
app.
it is.
Okay, I need a
Okay.
donut is the app.
Yeah, I deserve a donut.
Or I deserve
And
a donut.
other lies that make you eat. Lies that make you eat, emotions that make you eat, and then there's resources. So lies that make you eat, appearance eating. I'll never be skinny, so I might as well eat.
Mhm.
Bad scale eating. I might as well eat since I'm not losing weight. Boredom eating. I need a little excitement in my life. Careless eating. It's just one bite. Denial eating. I'm not really breaking my boundaries. Emotional eating. I need this. Entitlement eating. I deserve this. Failure eating. I already broke my boundaries. I might as well eat. Garbage disposal eating. I don't want this to go to waste.
Wow.
Good food eating. This looks good. I should eat it. Holiday vacation eating. Hopeless eating. I'll start tomorrow eating. Indulgence eating. Justification eating. Perfectionism eating. Procrastination eating. Reward eating. Social eating. And tired of the struggle eating. It has all the different lies, and then it has questions to ask for each one.
Oh my goodness. I could check every one of those boxes. I gotta ask you to ask like one question out of it. I haven't been
Okay.
in that app. So if you could just pick any of them, because I could have checked any of those boxes.
Okay, let's see.
What's the one with social eating?
Oh yeah, let's see. Holiday vacation eating?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, social eating. Okay. If you feel like people are expecting you to eat, see living up to expectations or people pleasing. People will condemn you or get mad at you if you don't eat. See worry or feeling condemned. You have a right to eat because everyone else is eating. See entitlement eating. You want to eat because it wouldn't be any fun if you couldn't eat. See indulgence eating.
Wow.
And then she has Bible verses that go with that.
Wow. I think that's amazing. I think that's going to be a really effective app. I don't know how long it's been on the market. Is it free?
Yeah, it's a free app.
Okay.
And then she does have a tip. If you're going to a party, try praying through these verses that are listed above before you go. I used to pray through them on the way to the gathering while my husband drove. Praying through the verses will help you forget about yourself and focus on loving the people at the party. This will also make it easier to enjoy the party. So that's social eating.
And it's just a stop, think about it, what you're doing, and go on from there. So again, it's kind of an emergency action plan.
Well, yeah, no, that's so BLE does say emergency action plan. So I use the truth journaling as my emergency action
Yes.
plan. I also do other things like drink water, drink sparkling water, and leave the room.
Go to bed.
Read a book. Yeah.
Go skating.
Well, I go skating for fun. So
Well, this is really quite amazing. I think that is incredible. What are you mentioned the other day a couple other Facebook groups that you found very helpful too, and I don't want to leave them out. You have Bright Believers.
okay, recipe ideas, no sugar, no flour.
Excellent group. Mm-hmm.
That and then I have the cookbook Cooking with Joy by Natalie All, and I use a lot of her recipes. And then Bright Believers, and then Living a Simple Bright Life. It hasn't been extremely active now, but the gal has recipes and menus, and like she'll put there's menus on there for the whole week and recipes to go with each item.
Wow,
I'll figure it out for you. And I did that sometimes when I was stressed out during COVID, when I was just getting started and I was a little stressed out. We were living with my daughter, and we got some really great recipes that everybody liked, so that was good. And then the Chapel, Nicole DeFalsi's, I'm not sure if hers is a Facebook page or not. I think she has a page.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes,
and she wrote the Truffles cookbook, so that's a really good cookbook. And the recipes, ideas, no sugar, no flour has famous people like Deb Babcock on there.
Yes.
Nicole DeFalces, and Lori Lundgren is making a cookbook, and there's other people in it. I've gotten a lot of good recipes, a lot of good ideas.
That is what's amazing, is there is no shortage, and I'm just I'm absolutely blown away with the creativeness of so many generous people giving their recipes and then fortunately bounding them together and putting them in books too. So you don't even have to go searching. You can buy the book and have it. Like, who doesn't want to do that? All of us do. I know I do. Well, the thing about emotional eating, you have to somehow flip a switch. And you're talking about some great ways to do that. And so do you feel like now satisfied where you are?
No,
No.
because I gained 5 pounds on maintenance. So, and I carry all of the weight in my waist. After I lost weight, my husband said, "Your arms and legs are so skinny." And I said, "My arms and legs have always been skinny. I never gain weight there." So,
That's not my troubles, dear. I've got a note here that Nicole's is Nicole's Weight Loss Eating is her Facebook page, and Deb's is Deb's Delicious Dinners. So there are those, and I'm sure there are others that we have missed. Grandma's page,
yeah.
Diane's. So
Yeah,
I know there are more too. So
yeah, those are really great. They all of those people post on recipes, no sugar, no flour. So you can find links to their pages on there.
Yeah, I gotta say a small victory for myself, because part of this it's called Get Healthy Grandma. I gotta share this little thing because I've been kind of chronicling my journey as I go too. And I had hit the 85-pound mark, which brought me to 185. And then it popped up with, I don't know why, seriously, other than I haven't been drinking enough water and I haven't been sleeping enough. But I had a doctor's appointment today and I didn't bother taking off shoes. I'm like, I'm going in there. I got to get my arm checked and I'm just going in and getting out. And I fully thought, okay, I'm going to see that 190 number again. I'm not going to want to, but I don't care. I'm not taking my shoes off. And it hit 189.8 with the shoes on. I thought that was a huge win. So we talk a lot about the numbers, and they do matter in your mind. But yeah. I was glad not to see the higher number. And I want to thank also Rana Ronke. She, the 5 love languages, it's words of affirmation, physical touch. That's a good one. Quality time, acts of service, and gifts. And the gifts part, I think I'm going to do a Zoom on just love languages, I think. The gifts part is so cool because it can be not just gifts, but if your love language is gifts, sometimes the gift means the gift of tradition. Like, let's say you have a partner and they don't want to honor your traditions. That's a downer. Like if I want to decorate for the holidays and the other person doesn't, like, you're not honoring my traditions. Fortunately, I don't have that problem, but I've seen it. So there's the gift of tradition and also the gift of your presence. So for example, someone may have this gifts, they love gifts, but let's say they're directing a play or they're in a play. Your presence is a gift to them to actually come. Some could care less if anybody comes, but for others, that gift of your presence is a really big deal. Kind of got off on a tangent here, but those 5 love languages are a big deal to me. I love that book. So anyway, as we get closer to wrapping up here, Barb, you've been on a weight loss journey for 37 years. And it looks like doing the BLE lifestyle has been the piece that has gotten you down at least to your goal one time. And you keep working it. What have you felt has been the non-scale victories or just the victories in themselves to doing this?
Well, one of the victories is learning how to do the truth journaling and dealing with my emotions, because I didn't realize how much I was stuffing my emotions. And but another one is when people meet me, they don't think, oh, that I was fat. They don't think of me as a fat person. So that's, well, why do you need to lose weight? Well, that's a real weird, it's a weird non-scale victory, but it's kind of nice. I don't weigh what I want right now, but it's the same weight I was as a freshman in college, a sophomore in college. And another non-scale victory is seeing yourself in a reflection and saying, oh, that's what I used to look like. So it's kind of fun.
Well, you must feel light as air on those skates too.
No, because I remember, because I skated, I remember being a lot faster. I enjoy skating, but I remember being a lot faster.
Wow.
I could get my skates on a lot faster too. I'm definitely slowed down.
So here we are, you know, you're at pretty close to goal.
I'm in my maintenance range.
You're in your maintenance range. You know, what advice would you have for somebody at this point who is just starting out? Like, because you started with just the book before you got to your 14-day. What would you start, you know, to set yourself up well?
I would decide not to have any artificial sweetener of any kind, not to make exceptions, because when I first started, I thought, well, it doesn't bother me that much. I can have this and it doesn't. Now my daughter-in-law truly can, because, but sugar was never her weakness. So she has maintained her weight also. So, but sugar wasn't her big weakness like it was mine. So she can have one once in a while, but she mostly has sparkling water. But if you use any artificial sweetener, I just ditch it. And meal planning is important. And so on all those other A to Z diets, I would say, oh, I'm going to eat this. And then I'd say, oh, well, it's okay. I can change my mind. But one of the things they did teach us in boot camp is that make your plan and keep it. And they suggest doing it the night before. And I have this problem. I get really tired. I'm more of a morning person. I get really tired. So usually I plan it. I think about it the night before and check my refrigerator and stuff. But then I commit it to somebody in the morning more than at night, just because I'm not that good at doing it.
So meal planning, get rid of the sugar-free stuff, and get rid of the
it works. Be excited, because it really does work. It works for so many people, all different ages. And you can be hopeful. You don't have to try. It doesn't have to be weird food. You can eat what you like. It doesn't have to be what someone else likes.
And that's what my last question was going to be, is if somebody was sitting here right now with you and they have tried all the A to Z diets, what would you say to them about starting or just doing Bright Line Eating?
It works. It really does work. It's what you've been looking for.
It has been what I know I was looking for. It took me a while to find it. It took me close to 30 years.
Right.
But there's no looking back. I'm now at a point that I was when I was 28 years ago. And that's pretty amazing to me. You know, a lot of it has to do with making those habits like you're talking about, the meal planning, but also just not giving up. There was a question in the official group the other day, and the person asked the question, and I'd like to give credit to the person whose name, but I can't remember. And she just said, I need some hope and inspiration. What would you say to me about starting this program, and how can I give up all these things that are making me sick?
Well, you know, being frustrated about your weight, being frustrated how you look in your clothes, not feeling confident and not being healthy, it's worth it. And it's not that hard. I mean, I still have some cravings, but like I said, as my research project has shown me, it's from artificial sweeteners. That's mostly why I've had problems, is because I've given in, and then once you have some sugar, you want more sugar, but it's worth it because it does work. And if you just do it, it will work.
And, you know, you're saying about the artificial sweeteners, but I think that this refers to anything. And this came from one of Susan's vlogs, and it's about intermittent reinforcement. If someone out there has not listened to that vlog, I strongly recommend it. It's about the concept of your brain buying into the thought that I can just have one. Well, once you introduce one, it's harder to turn it back. And then it's even harder because you're training your brain that you might get a hit. It's kind of like the slot machine. You might get a hit. So you just the brain just keeps on saying, come on, can I have it now? Can I have it
Yeah,
now?
it's easier. It's easier just to stay away from it.
Yeah, so stay away from stay away from it, stay away from all of it, the artificial sweeteners. And in the end, your brain will be happier.
Well, my biggest mistake when I got to my goal weight on Weight Watchers one time when I was 30 was I maintained it for 6 months. But then I said, oh, I can eat like normal people. And then I started eating everything. And that's when I gained all my weight back. And then it took me 37 more years to get there.
Right. And so this is the part where, I mean, again, you just hit the nail. Like, that is the old way of thinking with diets, that when I arrive, I will be able to eat like a normal person. Well, if you look at what normal people are eating today, they're pretty much eating junk or sugar-free stuff, which we were sold a bill of goods that it's not going to hurt you because there are no calories. But what it's doing is it's really giving our brain this dopamine rush, thinning out the receptors, and then we just want it more and more. But, you know, and like what I was saying before, when you have something like Neotame that is 7,000 to 13,000 times sweeter than sugar, and it's used in over 1,000 sugar-free products right now, that's a problem. I mean, I keep thinking about our kids and grandkids of what they're coming up against as far as this kind of, you know, just products that are absolutely going to not work well, you know, if they have any kind of sugar addiction or dependency. It's really not going to be good. But anyway, do you have any last words of thought or advice to anybody, Barb?
Don't give up. And the Lord is there to help you, and he'll answer your prayers.
Amen. Well, Barb, thank you so much for sharing your story and all your good advice. You know, it's so interesting to hear how everybody makes their way through this journey. And, you know, you have a very different journey too. So I know that somebody will have heard this and they're going to #1 throughout all their artificial sweeteners. Don't let it kid you. They're dangerous. So with that, I'm going to say good night as I do each week. Good night. Stay bright. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Good night, everybody. So Barb, how would you like to play 3-Question Thursday?
Okay.
So you talked about having a truth journal. I have a question here. Is there a specific book that is a truth journal, or do you make your own?
I buy notebooks at the beginning of the school year that are 10 cents a piece, spiral notebooks, or a 3-subject one for 70 cents.
Oh.
Like this. I do a lot of Bible studies. Most of the time because I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, so I don't have a lot of room. So I just buy notebooks and I write a spiral notebook that I buy cheap, thrifty. I'm very thrifty.
Wow.
So I just write it down.
But it gets the job done. That's great. here's question number 2. Do you have a favorite mantra?
Yes, I think that would be the Bible verse, 2 Corinthians 10:5, casting down imaginations and every high thought that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ.
Beautiful. And now I'm going to ask you a cooking question.
Okay.
Because you kind of talked a little bit about Instapot. Is that your go-to for a special meal, or do you have anything else? I don't want to put just one idea, but what are some of the good things that you like to bake?
Instapot used to do chicken breast, to do beef. I mean, I use it to cook meat quickly, and because there's only 2 of us, then a lot of times I will make 8 chicken breasts and divide them up in serving sizes for 2 of us, and then freeze them and put them in the fridge so that if you have a busy day, you can come home and you've got chicken already cooked. You just have to heat it up.
Well, I have not used one, but I would think that from what everybody's reviewing them, that is the way to go. That
They're really fast.
Easy and moist.
Yes.
Okay. So here we are. And I want to say thanks again for sharing your story, Barb. And thank you for playing 3 Question Thursday.
Thank you, Noreen, for choosing me and being a blessing to me.
Oh, you're welcome, Barb. Right, feelings mutual. So good night, everybody. Stay bright.
Bye.